Hello. I'm really glad you're here tonight. This hour is different from the rest of the day. It doesn't ask you to decide anything. It doesn't ask you to perform or explain or keep up. It simply invites you to lie still and let your thoughts move at their own pace. As the years pass, nighttime becomes a kind of companion, a place where the mind is free to wander without interruption, where memories return, not urgently, but patiently, where understanding settles in quietly, without needing words. Later in life, the mind doesn't race the way it once did. It reflects, it revisits, it connects dots that once seemed unrelated. And it does this most honestly when the lights are off and the world has gone silent. This space is for those thoughts, the ones that don't surface during the day, the ones that arrive only when you're alone with yourself, resting, remembering, and gently making sense of a long, lived-in life. So take a slow breath. Let your body soften into the bed and allow this night to meet you where you are. And now, before we begin, if this kind of honest, gentle reflection speaks to you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And down in the comments, tell me where you're listening from and what time it is where you are right now. There's something comforting about knowing we're all here together, scattered across time zones, but united in these late hours when the world finally grows still. So settle in, adjust your pillows, find a comfortable position, and know that for the next hour, you're not alone in whatever wisdom you're carrying, whatever understanding you've earned, whatever truths rise to the surface when the lights go out. Let's begin. You reach over and turn on the lamp beside your bed. The soft glow fills the room with amber warmth. This simple gesture, this reaching, this click of the switch, you've done it thousands upon thousands of times throughout your 70 years. But tonight you notice it differently. The lamplight at 70 is not the same light you turned on at 7, or 17, or 30, or even 50. The lamp itself might be different. The room certainly is. But more than that, you are different. The person reaching for that switch carries 7 decades now. 7 decades of nights, of lamplight moments, of bedtime rituals that have evolved and transformed and somehow remained essential. The lamp casts its circle of light across the nightstand, across the book you're reading or have set aside, across the glass of water you've learned to keep there, because waking thirsty in the middle of the night is something that happens now with regularity. Across the reading glasses you need for everything close up, across the bottle of pills that didn't used to be there but are now part of the landscape. The light is gentle. You've chosen this lamp carefully. You've learned over the years what kind of light feels right at bedtime. Not too bright, not too dim, not the harsh overhead light that makes everything feel clinical and exposed, but this warm, contained glow that creates a small world within the larger darkness. This is your world right now. This circle of lamplight, this bed, this room, this moment before sleep. You remember the first lamp you can recall from childhood. It sat on your mother's nightstand, or your grandmother's. You remember being small enough to be carried to bed, but old enough to notice that lamp, the way it made the adult bedroom feel safe. Magical. Like a cave of warmth in the nighttime house. You'd watch that lamp from the doorway sometimes, after you'd been put to bed in your own room. You'd get up and wander down the hall and stand there watching the light spill from their bedroom, listening to the murmur of adult conversation, the rustle of pages turning, the small sounds of nighttime routines. That light meant they were still awake, still there, still protecting the house while you slept. It was a comfort you didn't have words for then, but you felt it. The security of knowing someone older was keeping watch, someone who would hear you if you called out, someone who hadn't surrendered to sleep yet. Now you're that someone. You're the elder. You're the one whose lamplight might comfort someone else, though there may be no one else in the house to see it. Your children are grown and gone. Your parents are long departed. Your spouse might be beside you or might be gone too. Either way, you're the generation that keeps the lamp on now. This shift happened gradually, so gradually you barely noticed it occurring. 1 year, you were the child watching the lamplight from the hallway. Then, you were the teenager with your own lamp, reading forbidden books under covers when you were supposed to be sleeping. Then, you were the young adult in your first apartment, choosing your first lamp, creating your first grown-up bedroom. Then, you were the parent, and a child was watching your lamplight, seeking it, finding comfort in knowing you were awake. You kept that lamp on later than you wanted sometimes, because you knew they checked. You knew they found security in that soft glow from your room. You remember reading by lamplight while your baby slept in cribs nearby, the books you read then, the novels that transported you out of the exhaustion and overwhelm of early parenthood. The lamp was your companion through those long nights of feeding and rocking and settling. It witnessed your fatigue, your determination, your love expressed through persistence. You remember reading by lamplight while your children did homework at the kitchen table. You in bed, stealing a few moments to yourself. Them in the other room, still needing you, but not needing you to be present every second. The lamp marked your space, your brief respite, your few pages of escape before someone called for help with math or spelling or life. You remember lying in bed by lamplight after they'd finally gone to sleep. The house quiet at last. You and your partner, if you had one, existing in that precious hour when the day was done, but sleep hadn't claimed you yet, talking about nothing important, or everything important, or not talking at all, just reading side by side. 2 lamps, 2 books, 2 people choosing to be together, even in separate activities. Those were good years. Hard years, but good years. The lamplight saw all of it. The intimacy, the exhaustion, the partnership, the small negotiations about who would turn off the light, who was more tired, who would get up if someone called out in the night. The lamp was witness to your marriage if you were married. It saw the good nights and the terrible nights. It was on during arguments that couldn't wait until morning, during conversations about money and children and dreams and disappointments, during moments of connection and moments of unbridgeable distance. It was on during the nights when you reached for each other, when passion or comfort or simple need brought you together in the lamplight, when bodies spoke the language that words couldn't manage, when you were young enough that desire came easily and often, when touch was uncomplicated by age or illness or the slow accumulation of resentments. The lamplight made you visible to each other, vulnerable, real. You could see the expressions on each other's faces, the tenderness or hunger, or sometimes just the tiredness. You could see aging happen slowly, the grey hairs multiplying, the lines deepening, the bodies changing year by year under that consistent amber glow. If your partner is gone now, the lamp remembers them. It held their face in its light. It illuminated them reading, sleeping, thinking, being. It was the last thing they might have seen on the final night they spent in this bed. Or it might have been off. You might not remember. But the lamp was there, either way, whether lit or dark. A silent witness to a whole life shared. If your partner is still beside you, the lamp illuminates them now. At 70 or near it, their face deeply familiar, every line and spot and sag known to you. You've watched this face age in lamplight for decades. You know it better than your own because you can see theirs and can only imagine your own. They're beautiful to you, probably, even if they don't think so. Even if they apologize for aging, even if they hide their body or avoid mirrors or make self-deprecating comments. You see them in lamplight and you see everything they've been, every version of them you've known. They're all there simultaneously in that face on the pillow beside you. Or maybe they're not beautiful to you. Maybe the years have created distance. Maybe you look at them in lamplight and feel more absence than presence, more loneliness than connection. This happens too. Long marriages don't always stay tender. Sometimes they become simply habitual. Two people existing side by side, more from inertia than intention. The lamp doesn't judge this. It simply illuminates what is, whatever is. It's seen your whole marriage or partnership or long companionship. It knows the complexity. It knows that both things can be true, that you can love someone and feel distant from them, that you can be grateful for their presence and wish things were different, that you can be committed and still sometimes imagine what other lives you might have lived. At 70, you've learned to hold contradictions. The lamplight helps. It creates space for nuance, for the both and rather than either or, for the acceptance that life is complicated and love is complicated and aging together is complicated and all of it can be true at once. If you sleep alone now, the lamp illuminates only you and the space where someone used to be, or where someone might have been if your life had gone differently, or where you're content for there to be only you. Sleeping alone at 70 is different than sleeping alone at 20. At 20, it was temporary, waiting for the right person, the life that would begin when you found them, the future that would fill that empty space. At 70, if you sleep alone, it might be permanent. Your partner might have died, or left, or never existed, or you might have chosen to be alone, to take back space that had been shared for too long, to reclaim the bed as yours entirely. There's freedom in this, real freedom. The lamp illuminates only what you want it to. Your book, your glass of water, your pills, your own thoughts. You don't have to negotiate about light, about temperature, about noise, about when to sleep and when to wake. You can read as long as you want. The lamp will stay on without complaint. without someone sighing meaningfully, without the unspoken pressure to turn it off and go to sleep because someone else needs darkness. You can arrange your pillows however you like. Spread into the middle of the bed. Take all the covers. Wake at 3 in the morning and turn the lamp on to read or think or simply exist without worrying about disturbing anyone. This is worth something. After decades of accommodation and compromise and consideration, this is worth something. But there's also loneliness. The lamplight that illuminates only you reveals the absence, the empty pillow, the undisturbed covers on the other side of the bed, the silence that no one else breaks. You reach to turn off the lamp and there's no one to say goodnight to, no one to check is comfortable, no one to exchange small words with before sleep. The last voice you hear is your own, or the voice from the television or radio or audiobook you use to fill the silence. You wake in the night and turn on the lamp and the room is empty. Just you, your aging body needing the bathroom again, your mind churning with thoughts or worries or memories. No warm body to curl against, no presence to be comforted by. The lamp sees this loneliness. It illuminates it clearly, and somehow this helps. Better to see it clearly than to pretend it doesn't exist. Better to acknowledge what's true than to avoid it. At 70, you've learned that loneliness doesn't kill you. It's uncomfortable. It's painful sometimes, but it's survivable. You've survived everything else. You'll survive this too. The lamplight has always been about truth, about seeing clearly, about illuminating what is rather than what you wish was true. You remember the lamp in your childhood bedroom, not your parents' lamp now, but your own, the one you were given at some point, a lamp that made you feel grown up, that gave you control over your own light and darkness. You remember lying in that childhood bed by lamplight, reading books that transported you, Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys or whatever captured your imagination. The lamp made a tent of light over your book. The rest of the room faded. It was just you and the story and the soft glow. You felt safe there, in that circle of light. Even when the story was scary, you were safe. Because the lamp meant you were in control. You could close the book. You could turn on the overhead light if needed. You could call out and someone would come. The lamp in your childhood bedroom saw you grow. It witnessed your transformation from child to teenager. It illuminated your changing face, your changing body, your changing understanding of the world. It was on during the nights you cried over social cruelties, the particular viciousness of middle school, the exclusion and mockery and casual cruelty that children inflict on each other. You'd come home and close your door and turn on your lamp and cry into your pillow. The light made it possible to find the tissues, to see your own face in the mirror, blotchy and swollen, to eventually calm down and do homework or read or simply exist until dinner. The lamp was on during the nights you discovered your body, when curiosity and biology converged, when you touched yourself and learned what pleasure felt like. The lamp witnessed this exploration, this private discovery, this gradual understanding that your body could be a source of joy, not just something to move through the world in. You felt shame about this, probably. Everyone did then. Everyone carried the weight of messages about purity and wrongness and sin. But you did it anyway, by lamplight. in the privacy of your room, learning your own topography, finding your own responses, creating your own relationship with pleasure that had nothing to do with anyone else. The lamp in your teenage bedroom witnessed your heartbreaks, the crying over people who didn't love you back, the phone calls with friends dissecting every word, every look, every interaction. The lamp stayed on late during those calls, during those analysis sessions that felt desperately important. It witnessed your rebellion too, the times you snuck out after your parents thought you were asleep. Lamp off, window open, freedom calling. You'd climb back in hours later and turn the lamp back on briefly to undress, to check that you looked normal, to transition from wild teenager back to obedient child before morning. The lamp kept your secrets. It saw everything and told nothing. It was loyal in the way objects are loyal, simply by being there, by continuing to function, by providing light whenever you needed it. You left that lamp behind when you left home. It stayed in your childhood bedroom when you moved out. Your parents probably sold it at a garage sale, or threw it away, or gave it to someone else's child. It no longer exists in any form you could recover, but it exists in memory. It exists in this moment. When you turn on your lamp at 70, you're also turning on that childhood lamp. All the lamps you've ever had are somehow present in this one lamp. All the rooms you've ever lit are present in this room. The lamp in your first apartment was cheap. You remember buying it at a discount store. Or maybe someone gave it to you. Either way, it wasn't much, just functional, just enough to read by, to create a small sense of home in that first space that was entirely yours. You were so proud of that apartment, that lamp, that bed you'd bought or inherited or rescued from someone's curb. You'd made it up with your own sheets, your own blankets, everything chosen by you, for you, to please only you. The lamp in that apartment witnessed your early adulthood, your first real job, your first real relationships, your first real failures and successes. It saw you come home exhausted, or exhilarated, or devastated. It saw you cry over rejections, celebrate acceptances, process breakups, fall in love. It was on during late-night conversations with new friends, the kind of friends you make when you're young and the world feels full of possibility, when connection comes easily, when you'd stay up until 3 a.m. talking about everything and nothing, solving the world's problems, sharing your deepest thoughts, believing you'd be friends forever. Some of those friends are still in your life. Most aren't. People drift. Lives diverge. Geography and circumstances and changing interests pull people apart. At 70, you might have 1 or 2 friends from those early days. If you're lucky. If you worked at it. If life allowed it. The lamp in that first apartment saw you become who you were going to be. It witnessed the formation of your adult self, the choices that set patterns, the habits that became permanent, the ways of being that would carry forward through all the decades to come. It saw you at your most hopeful, when everything still seemed possible, when you believed you could become anyone, do anything, create any kind of life you wanted. The world was open, the future was unwritten, You were young and healthy and full of energy, and time stretched endlessly ahead. At 70, you know how that story went. You know which possibilities became realities and which remain fantasies. You know which choices led where. You know what you built and what you lost and what you never even attempted. The lamp at 70 illuminates both what is and what might have been. The life you're living and the lives you imagined. The person you became and the people you thought you'd be. This can be painful. The gap between expectation and reality, between hope and outcome, between the imagined future and the lived present. But it can also be peaceful. At 70, there's freedom in acceptance, in knowing, in no longer wondering what might happen because most of it has already happened. The story is mostly written. The major choices are made. The path is behind you more than ahead of you. The lamplight at 70 is gentler because of this. It doesn't illuminate an unknown future. It illuminates a known present and a remembered past. And the wisdom that comes from having lived long enough to understand the connections between them. You've had many lamps, many rooms, many beds. You've turned on lights in houses and apartments and hotel rooms and hospital rooms. You've created temporary sanctuaries in temporary spaces. You've carried the ritual of lamplight through every stage of your life. Some of those lamps were expensive, carefully chosen, perfect for the room, the right height and style and quality of light. You were proud of those lamps. They represented your success, your taste, your ability to create beauty in your environment. Some of those lamps were cheap, functional only. You didn't care much about them because you were focused on other things. Children, career, crisis. The lamp was simply there because you needed light. It served its purpose without being noticed. Now you notice. At 70, you notice the lamp. You notice the quality of light, the way it makes you feel, the memories it holds, the comfort it provides. This lamp beside your bed right now might be the last lamp you'll own, or you might buy several more. But either way, this lamp is important. It matters. It's part of your life right now, in this moment. It's creating this experience of settling in, of preparing for sleep, of existing in this space between day and night. The lamplight falls on your hands. You look at them sometimes in this light. 70-year-old hands, spotted and veined and loose-skinned, knuckles enlarged, joints aching, nails thickening. These hands have changed so much. You remember young hands, smooth and strong, capable of anything. Working hands, creative hands. Hands that built and wrote and held and created. Hands that expressed love, that comforted children, that earned livelihood, that moved through the world with confidence. These hands now move more slowly, more carefully. They drop things. They fumble with pill bottles. They struggle with buttons and jars and tasks that used to be automatic. But they're still your hands. They still carry your history. Every scar tells a story. Every spot marks time passing. Every line represents experience. These hands have lived your life with you. They've done everything you've done. They deserve gentleness now, appreciation, rest. The lamplight illuminates them without judgment. It shows them as they are, aged, still functional, still yours, still capable of turning pages and holding glasses and pulling up covers, still able to reach over and turn off the light when you're ready. Not yet though, not quite yet. The lamplight at 70 means you're still here, still alive, still experiencing nights, still engaged in the ritual of bedtime. This is not guaranteed. This is precious. This is temporary. You've lost people who will never turn on a lamp again, who will never read in bed again, who will never experience this particular piece of settling in for the night. They're gone. You're still here. This matters. You're still here. By lamplight at 70, you're still here. You adjust the lamp slightly. The shade it shifted. You straighten it without thinking. This small gesture of care for your environment, this attention to detail. You've always done this, made small adjustments, kept things ordered, maintained your space. At 70, this impulse is stronger. Or maybe you just notice it more. The need for things to be right, for the lampshade to sit properly, for the books to be stacked neatly, for the water glass to be positioned just so. Not obsessive, just particular, just caring about your immediate environment in ways you perhaps didn't when you were younger and busier and pulled in 1,000 directions. Now, you have time. Time to notice the lampshade. Time to straighten it. Time to care about these small things that create comfort. The lamp illuminates your bedside table. You look at what's gathered there, the archaeology of your current life, the items you keep within arm's reach, the things you need or want in the night. There are books, always books. You've been a reader your whole life probably, or you became one at some point. Either way, books have been companions, friends who never leave, worlds you can enter whenever you choose. The books beside your bed now are different from the books you read at 20 or 40. Your tastes have changed, deepened, or simplified, or both. You know what you like now, what speaks to you, what wastes your time. You're selective. Life is too short to read books that don't matter to you. Some of these books are rereads, favorites you return to, comfort reads that feel like coming home. You know how they end. You know every plot point. But you read them anyway because they're familiar, because they remind you of who you were when you first read them, because certain passages still move you no matter how many times you encounter them. Some of these books are new, stories you've never experienced. You still seek novelty, still want to be surprised, still believe books can teach you things or show you perspectives you haven't considered. At 70, you haven't stopped learning, haven't stopped being curious, haven't stopped wanting to grow. The lamp has illuminated thousands of pages over your lifetime, millions of words, hundreds of stories. It's been your reading light through every stage, every genre, every phase of what captured your attention. You remember reading by lamplight as a young parent, stealing 15 minutes before exhaustion claimed you, reading the same paragraph 3 times because you kept losing focus, finally giving up and turning off the light, the book barely progressing night after night. You remember reading by lamplight during illness, when you were too sick to do anything else but well enough to hold a book, when stories were escape from discomfort, from fear, from the anxiety of not knowing how sick you were. or when you'd recover. You remember reading by lamplight during grief, after losses, when books were the only things that made sense, when fictional sorrows felt more manageable than your real ones, when you needed to think about someone else's problems instead of your own. You remember reading by lamplight during joy, during the best times, when you'd come to bed happy and read until you couldn't keep your eyes open, when sleep came easily and books were just pleasure, just entertainment, just the perfect end to good days. The lamp has seen all of it. It's provided light for every mood, every circumstance, every reason you've ever had for reading. Beside the books is your phone, probably, almost certainly, the modern intrusion into this ancient ritual, the device that connects you to everything and everyone, and also to nothing and no one, depending on how you use it. You have a complicated relationship with this phone. It's necessary. It keeps you connected to children and grandchildren if you have them, to friends scattered across distance, to information, to entertainment, to the world. But it also disturbs your peace. It brings the world into your bedroom, into your lamplight sanctuary, into this space that should be separate from demands and news and other people's needs. You try to put it away before bed, to charge it across the room, to create boundaries. But it's hard. What if someone needs you? What if there's an emergency? What if something important happens? At 70, you've lived through enough actual emergencies to know they're rare, that most things can wait until morning, that the world managed to function for millennia without instant communication. But still, the phone stays close, just in case. Sometimes you scroll before bed, even though you know you shouldn't. Even though every article tells you blue light disrupts sleep, even though you always regret it. You scroll through news that upsets you, through social media that makes you feel inadequate or angry or disconnected, through messages you don't have energy to answer. The lamplight and the phone light compete. One warm and analog and gentle, one cool and digital and demanding. You prefer the lamplight, always, but you can't quite give up the phone. This tension is modern. Your parents didn't deal with this. Their bedside tables held simpler things. A clock, a book, a glass of water, maybe a radio. Nothing that demanded constant attention. Nothing that made them feel guilty for not responding. Nothing that brought the entire world into their bedroom. You're trying to find balance. To use the phone as a tool rather than letting it use you. Some nights you succeed. You leave it alone. You read your actual book. You exist in lamplight without digital intrusion. Those nights you sleep better. Other nights you fail. You pick it up, meaning to check one thing, and 30 minutes disappear. You read things that upset you. You compare your life to curated versions of other people's lives. You feel worse when you finally put it down than you did when you picked it up. The lamp witnesses this struggle. It illuminates both the book and the phone, both the peaceful ritual and the modern disruption. It doesn't judge. It simply provides light for whatever you choose to do. There's a clock, maybe on the phone, maybe a separate clock. You check it more than you used to. Time feels different at 70, more precious, more limited, more worthy of attention. You calculate how many hours until morning, how much sleep you might get if you fall asleep right now, whether you have anything scheduled tomorrow that requires you to wake at a specific time. You've become someone who thinks about sleep in ways you never did when you were young. When you were young, sleep was assumed, automatic. You lay down and slept. You woke up rested. You didn't have to plan it or worry about it or create conditions for it. It just happened. Now sleep is something you work at, something you try to achieve. You have a routine, a process, things you do to encourage sleep to come. The lamp is part of this routine, the ritual of reading, of settling, of creating the right environment. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you read a few pages and feel drowsiness creeping in. Your eyes get heavy. The words blur. You set down the book, turn off the lamp, settle into darkness, and sleep finds you. Other nights sleep doesn't come. You read for hours. You turn off the lamp hopefully. You lie in darkness waiting. Nothing happens. Your mind races. Your body won't relax. You turn the lamp back on. Read more. Try again. The cycle repeats until finally, maybe, sleep arrives. Or morning does. The lamp is patient through all of this. On, off, on again, off again. It doesn't complain, doesn't judge your inability to sleep, doesn't make you feel worse about being awake at 3 a.m. It simply provides light when you need it, creates darkness when you want it. You've learned what helps sleep come. Warm milk, chamomile tea, meditation apps, breathing exercises, white noise, darkness, coolness, specific pillow arrangements. You've tried everything. Some things help some nights. Nothing helps every night. At 70, your body has its own rhythms, its own needs, its own stubborn refusal to do what you want when you want. Sleep is one more thing you can't completely control. One more reminder that you're not in charge, that aging means surrendering certain abilities, certain guarantees. But you keep trying. You keep reading by lamplight, keep performing the ritual, keep hoping that tonight will be one of the good nights. One of the nights when sleep comes easily and stays until morning and you wake feeling actually rested. The lamp illuminates your hope, your persistence, your refusal to give up on the simple pleasure of a good night's sleep. There are photographs visible in the lamplight, maybe on the bedside table, maybe on the dresser across the room, maybe on the walls. Faces you love, moments you've captured, evidence of a life lived. You look at these photographs sometimes before sleep. The lamp makes them visible, makes the faces glow, makes the memories present. There are pictures of your children when they were young, if you have children. Small faces, gap-toothed smiles, school photos and the holiday photos and candid moments. They were so small once, so completely dependent on you, so fully yours. Now they're adults, with their own lives, their own homes, their own struggles and triumphs that you're sometimes part of and sometimes not. They call occasionally, visit when they can, love you in the complicated way adult children love aging parents. You're proud of them, mostly. You wish some things were different. You worry about them, but you're proud. They survived childhood. They survived your parenting. They're making their way in the world. That's success. The lamplight shows you who they were. The photographs freeze them in time. Forever young in these images. Forever yours in a way they're not anymore in reality. This is bittersweet. You're grateful for the photographs, for the ability to remember them small. But you also feel the loss. They grew up, they left. They became people you didn't entirely predict. The children in these photographs don't exist anymore, except in memory and image. There are photographs of your parents. If they're gone now, frozen at whatever age they were when the photo was taken, maybe young, maybe middle-aged, maybe old but not as old as you are now. You've outlived them possibly. You're older now than they were in their final photographs. This seems impossible. Feels impossible. They were always older, always the elders, always the generation ahead of you. But now, you're the elder. You're the older generation. If they could see you now, you'd be the age they were when you thought of them as old. This perspective shift is disorienting. You look at their photographed faces and see them as younger than you are now. See them as somehow your children, people you want to protect, people you wish you could warn about what's coming. The lamplight illuminates their faces. You say goodnight to them sometimes, out loud or silently. A small ritual, an acknowledgement that they're gone, but not forgotten. That they're still part of your nighttime routine, still present in this room, still watching over you in some sense, even though they're dead. There are photographs of your spouse, if you had one. If they're still alive, there are recent photos. Their 70-year-old face, the face you wake up to, the face you know in lamplight. If they're gone, the photographs show them at various ages, young and beautiful, middle-aged and settled, old and frail. The progression of a life, the stages you witnessed, the person you loved through all their transformations. You talk to them sometimes, the ones who are gone. You tell them about your day, ask them questions, share thoughts. The lamp witnesses these one-sided conversations, these moments of continued relationship with someone who can't respond. This isn't madness. It's connection. It's refusal to let death completely sever relationship. It's acknowledgement that love continues even when life doesn't. The photographs in lamplight make them present enough to address, to include, to still feel connected to. There are photographs of yourself, maybe, at various ages, evidence of who you were, how you've changed, the progression from young to old captured in images. You look at young you sometimes, the person in photographs from 40 or 50 years ago. You were beautiful once, handsome, vital, strong. Your face was smooth, your body was capable, your eyes were bright with future. That person feels both intimately you and completely foreign. You remember being them. You remember how it felt to inhabit that body, to have that face, to be that age with that much life still ahead. But you can't quite believe you were ever that young, that unmarked by time, that ignorant of what was coming, that confident in your own continuation. The lamplight shows you who you were and who you are, the distance between them, the journey from one to the other, all the years and experiences and changes that transform the person in the photograph into the person holding the photograph. At 70, you've learned to appreciate both versions. Young, you did the best they could with what they knew, made mistakes, had successes, lived the life that led here. You can't resent them for not knowing what they didn't know, for not being wiser than was possible at that age. And current you is doing the best you can too, with this body, this mind, this stage of life. You're still here, still trying, still engaged with living even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you wish some things were different. The photographs in Lamplight tell your story, show your people, prove your life. They're witnesses to what was, what is, what continues to matter. You reach for the water glass. Take a sip. This is necessary now. Hydration before sleep. You wake thirsty if you don't drink. Wake needing the bathroom if you drink too much. There's a narrow window of correct water intake. You've learned through trial and error where that window is. The lamp illuminates the water, makes it glow. Such a simple thing. Water in a glass. But at 70, you're grateful for it. Grateful you can afford clean water. Grateful you can still swallow easily. Grateful your body still processes fluids normally. Grateful for this basic sustenance. You remember being careless about water, about hydration. You drank when you were thirsty, didn't think about it otherwise. Your body regulated itself without your conscious participation. Now you have to think about it. Have to make sure you drink enough during the day, not too much at night. Have to notice your body's signals. Have to take care of yourself deliberately rather than automatically. This is what aging is. Increasing deliberateness, increasing awareness of body, increasing need to pay attention to things that used to take care of themselves. The water tastes good, cool and clean. You set the glass back down, exactly where it was, in the same spot it occupies every night. You could reach for it in darkness and find it. Your hand knows where it lives. This consistency is comforting. Same glass, same spot, same lamp, same bed, same room, same ritual night after night. At 70, you've learned the value of routine, of predictability, of creating a stable environment in an unstable world. When you were young, you craved novelty, adventure, change. You wanted every night to be different, every experience to be new. Routine felt like death, like giving up, like settling for less than life could offer. Now routine feels like life, like sanity, like the structure that makes everything else possible. You've had enough adventure, enough change, enough novelty. Now you want the comfort of sameness, the peace of knowing what comes next. The lamp is part of this routine. Same lamp, same light, same ritual. Night after night, year after year, until eventually you won't need a lamp anymore, won't have nights anymore, won't exist to perform this ritual. But not yet, not tonight. Tonight you're here. The lamp is here. The routine continues. You hear sounds from outside, maybe traffic if you live in a city, maybe wind if you don't, maybe neighbors, maybe animals, maybe nothing but silence. The lamp keeps you separate from those sounds, keeps you in your circle of light, in your controlled environment, in your chosen solitude. At 70, you appreciate silence more than you used to. Or maybe you appreciate sound more. Either way, you're more aware of the acoustic environment, of what you're hearing or not hearing. You remember houses full of sound, children's voices, television, music, phones ringing, doors opening and closing, the constant noise of life being lived by multiple people in shared space. Now it's quieter, much quieter. Just you, just the sounds you make, just the silence you exist in. This felt lonely at first, if you're living alone. Oppressive, wrong. Houses should have sound. Life should have noise. But you've adjusted. You've learned to appreciate quiet, to hear subtle sounds you never noticed before. The hum of the refrigerator, the tick of a clock, your own breathing, the rustle of pages, the click of the lamp switch. These small sounds are your companions now. They mark time. They prove you're alive. They create rhythm in the silence. Sometimes you create sound deliberately. Turn on music or television or radio. Fill the silence with other voices, other lives, other stories. This helps. Reminds you that you're part of a larger world, that other people exist even if they're not physically present. But eventually, you turn it off. Eventually, you want the quiet back, want to be alone with yourself and the lamplight and your thoughts, want to settle into sleep without external stimulation. The lamp illuminates this choice: sound or silence, company or solitude, engagement or retreat. You get to choose now, every night. No one else's preferences matter, just yours. This is both freedom and burden. Freedom to do exactly what you want. Burden of having no one to share it with, no one to negotiate with, no one to consider. Just you and your choices and the consequences of those choices. At 70, you carry both the freedom and the burden. You appreciate the freedom. You feel the burden. You live with both. The lamplight shows you both, illuminates the complexity of this stage of life. You think about tomorrow, what you'll do, what you need to do, what you want to do. The lamp illuminates these thoughts, these plans, these small intentions that make up a life. Tomorrow might include obligations, appointments, errands, things you have to do whether you want to or not. At 70, there are often medical appointments, checkups, tests, monitoring of conditions, management of health. You're tired of these appointments, probably. Tired of doctors. Tired of being examined and questioned and treated as a collection of symptoms rather than a person. But you go. You keep the appointments. You take care of yourself because the alternative is worse. Tomorrow might include pleasures, time with people you love, activities you enjoy, small treats you give yourself. At 70, you've learned to prioritize pleasure, to seek joy deliberately, to create moments worth having. You know time is limited. You know you can't postpone happiness indefinitely. You know that someday there won't be tomorrow. So you try to make tomorrow matter. Try to include things worth doing, worth experiencing, worth remembering. The lamp illuminates your planning, your hoping, your intention to wake up and live another day. This is optimism. Quiet optimism. Not the loud optimism of youth that believes in immortality, but the earned optimism of age that knows life is temporary and chooses to engage with it anyway. You'll turn off this lamp tonight, and you'll turn it on again tomorrow night, if you're given tomorrow. This is the hope, the assumption, the faith that life continues, that the pattern repeats, that you'll have another night, another bedtime, another opportunity to perform this ritual. Nothing guarantees this. You know people who went to sleep and didn't wake up, who turned off their lamps for the final time without knowing it was final, who thought they'd have tomorrow and didn't. This could be you. Tonight could be the night. This could be the final time you perform this ritual. The final time the lamp illuminates your face, your room, your life. This thought isn't morbid. It's honest. At 70, you know death is close. Maybe not immediately close. Maybe years away still. But closer than it was. Closer than you'd like. Close enough to acknowledge. The lamp illuminates this awareness, this knowing, this acceptance that your nights are numbered, that the lamplight won't last forever, that eventually darkness will be permanent. But not yet. Not tonight. Tonight you're alive. Tonight the lamp works. Tonight you can read and think and remember and plan. Tonight you're here. This is enough. At 70, you've learned that being here is enough, that surviving another day is success, that making it to bedtime means you've done it. You've lived another day. You've earned another night. The lamp witnesses this success, this survival, this continuation. It's been your companion through the day that's ending. It'll be here tomorrow, if tomorrow comes. It's constant in the way few things are constant. Reliable, present, faithful. You love this lamp probably. Not dramatically, not consciously, but in the way you love things that serve you well, that make your life better, that create comfort in an uncomfortable world. You'll miss it when it breaks, when it stops working, when you have to replace it. You'll try to find another one exactly like it. You'll fail probably. They won't make this exact model anymore. The light will be slightly different. The switch will feel different. It won't be the same. But you'll adjust. You'll learn to love the new lamp, or at least to appreciate it, to accept it, to integrate it into your routine, because you're adaptable, because you've adapted to so many changes already, because you don't have a choice. At 70, you've lost so many things, so many people, so many abilities, so many certainties. One more loss won't destroy you. It'll hurt. It'll feel significant, but you'll survive it. You've survived everything else. The lamp illuminates this resilience, this strength, this capacity to continue despite loss, despite change, despite aging and dying and everything falling apart in slow motion. You're still here, still reading by lamplight, still performing bedtime rituals, still choosing to live as fully as you can, for as long as you can. This matters. This is heroic in its quiet way. This is success. You feel sleepy now. Finally. The reading has worked. The routine has worked. The lamplight has done its job. Your body is ready to rest. Your mind is ready to stop. Sleep is coming. You set down your book, mark your place. You'll continue tomorrow if tomorrow comes. You'll find out what happens next in the story. You'll spend another evening by lamplight with characters who don't age, who don't die unless the author kills them, who will be exactly the same age tomorrow as they are tonight. You remove your glasses if you wear them. Set them on the bedside table, within reach for the night, for when you wake needing to see clearly, for morning when you'll need them again. Your vision has changed, deteriorated. You can't see clearly anymore without help. This is one more loss, one more adjustment, one more reminder that your body is aging, failing in small ways, requiring assistance for things that used to be automatic. But the glasses help. Technology helps. You can still read, still see, still function, just differently, just with accommodation, just with acceptance that you need help now. The lamp illuminates your glasses. They reflect the light. Sit there ready for when you need them. Faithful like the lamp, present like the lamp, necessary like the lamp. You arrange your pillows, adjust the covers, create the physical conditions for sleep. Your body knows what it needs, what position works, what arrangement allows rest. This knowledge has been earned. Decades of sleeping, decades of finding what works and what doesn't, decades of accommodating changing bodies and changing needs and changing circumstances. You're good at this now, expert at your own comfort, skilled at creating the right environment. This expertise matters, makes life better, makes sleep possible. You reach for the lamp switch. Your hand knows where it is, how it feels, how much pressure to apply. This is muscle memory, physical knowledge stored in your body. Your fingers find the switch automatically, without conscious thought, without visual guidance. You pause, hand on the switch, not yet ready to turn it off. One more moment in the light, one more moment of consciousness, one more moment of being here, alive, aware, present. The lamplight glows warm and steady, faithful, constant, present with you in this moment between waking and sleeping, between today and tomorrow, between consciousness and rest. You've lived 70 years of nights, thousands upon thousands of bedtimes, countless moments of reaching for lamp switches, innumerable transitions from light to dark, from waking to sleeping, from one day to the next. This one is like all the others and like none of them. It's ordinary, unremarkable, simple, just another bedtime, just another night, just another moment in a lifetime of moments. But it's also unique, singular, irreplaceable. This exact configuration of thoughts and feelings and memories and circumstances will never happen again. This particular moment is happening now, and only now. Then it'll be memory. Then it'll be past. Then it'll join all the other nights in the vast collection of nights you've lived. You're grateful. Grateful for this lamp, this light, this room, this bed, this body that's still functioning well enough to lie down, this mind that's still aware enough to appreciate what it has, this life that's still continuing, still offering nights and mornings and the rhythm of days. At 70, you've learned gratitude, real gratitude, not the shallow gratitude of youth that takes everything for granted, but the deep gratitude of age that knows how fragile everything is, how easily it could all end, how precious each ordinary moment actually is. The lamp illuminates this gratitude, this awareness, this hard-won wisdom that comes from living long enough to lose things, to survive things, to understand what matters and what doesn't. You flip the switch, the lamp goes dark, the room goes dark, your eyes adjust slowly. Shapes emerge from blackness, the window, the dresser, the outline of furniture. The world doesn't disappear just because the lamp is off. It's still here, just less visible, just harder to see. You settle into the pillow, pull the covers up, close your eyes. Your body relaxes, your breathing slows, your thoughts begin to drift. Sleep is coming. You can feel it approaching. Welcome it. Surrender to it. The lamplight is gone, but its memory remains. The warmth, the glow, the comfort, the safety, the ritual, all of it stays with you as you slide toward sleep. All of it accompanies you into darkness. All of it promises to return tomorrow. Another night, another lamp, another bedtime, another chance to do this all again. If tomorrow comes, and you believe it will, you choose to believe it will, you'll wake in the morning and live another day and return to this bed and turn on this lamp and perform this ritual again. The pattern will continue. The rhythm will persist. The lamplight will illuminate another night. This is faith, quiet faith, the faith of 70 years, the faith that comes from surviving, from continuing, from being here despite everything, despite loss and pain and change and aging and dying. Despite it all, you're here, still turning on lamps, still reading by their light, still settling into sleep, still living. The darkness is complete now. The lamplight is gone. But you're not afraid. You've done this thousands of times. You know how it works. You know sleep will come. Morning will come. Light will return. The lamp will turn on again. You trust this. Trust the pattern. Trust the rhythm. Trust that life continues until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you won't be here to worry about it. So for now, you rest. You sleep. You surrender to darkness, knowing light returns, knowing morning comes, knowing the lamp will be there waiting, faithful companion through all your nights, all your years, all your life. The fires die down, the stories settle, and the world grows still. Let your thoughts drift away like embers on the wind. Good night. You've journeyed far through time tonight. Now it's time to journey into dreams. Close your eyes, breathe, and let sleep find you.